This is your promise, right, as an owner. He's like, I'm gonna train you and I'm gonna give you all the tools. All I'm asking you to do is just follow the systems after that.
When you are a small restaurant and you're just like keeping your head above water, it's hard. You know, it feels very uncomfortable when you don't know your job and you haven't been trained properly. You feel uncomfortable working in that job.
What if you can get a master class from one of the most successful restaurateurs where she's gonna show you how to develop your leaders, how to develop your hospitality, and how to develop your training systems? I'm actually gonna offer you that. I got to sit down with Janet Zuccarini. And if you don't know who Janet Zuccarini is, shame on you. She is one of the most successful restaurateurs in the world, and definitely in Canada. She has one of the most sought after, busiest Thai restaurants, but she also has restaurants in LA. She has a lot of restaurants all over Canada, and she's been in the business for 30 years, including a restaurant that she's operated for over 30 years that's still busy till this day. What is her secret? How has she grown her empire? Well, she's gonna show you in this video. We break it down step by step. You're gonna learn how she develops her leaders, her focus on hospitality, and how she gets her staff bought in, even with this generation that is really difficult to train. She mastered it all, and she's gonna show you the exact secrets. Check it out.
Has anyone down here before? Okay, so we're gonna tell you how it works here. Oh, how it works here? What's going on?
Yeah.
Well, we encourage sharing. Okay, yeah, encourage sharing. What else? And dishes are gonna come out whenever the chef wants to send them out, okay? You don't get to choose. The spiel has become the same everywhere,
Yes.
and we need to also retrain people because we're tired of the same spiel.
Agreed. 100. I talk about this all the time because what that's supposed to do is it's supposed to offer an opportunity to personalize. Like what I tell people, if you're going to do that, just say, hey, I just want to let you know real quick, all of our meats are sourced here. We have local food. All of our food's organic, right? My thing is you just try and add perceived value. Right? So
Yeah.
when they look at the menu, they go, oh, this is actually not bad. I get why now the salmon's $57 because they just told me it's wild caught, never frozen, whatever, right? But instead they give you like you just said, like a menu breakdown. And that's like, okay, all of our appetizers are here. Our drinks are on the other
Look
side.
on the left, look on the left side, left upper right side. I said, look on the upper left right side. Okay, we're starting with the appies there.
Yeah.
Okay, on the right side, lower. We need to.
Got it.
You know what? We've dined out enough.
Right.
And
I know how this menu of concept works.
yeah, and you know, back in the day when people weren't sharing, then we needed that spiel. But now it's kind of like we share. That's what typically people do. It's very rare to actually order your own plate.
Right.
You know.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of rare.
Right.
You know, people like to share, so everyone knows that. So your point is exactly right. You have to say something that someone's not going to know on the menu, or you know, like you're saying, adding value, or to say, you know what, we go to the farmers market every day and everything's organic over here. You know, just some special things like, wow, that's
cool.
yeah. And I wouldn't have known that just reading the menu, but I know that I'm going to sit down. I know that I'm going to look at a menu. I'm going to order the food that I like. I know how this all works.
And also, I love to see like little things, just to your point, where they say like, and those sides on the bottom right there, those are all the sides. You're like, thank you. The one that says sides, got it, right?
Yeah, the one that says sides.
Yeah, and then
Those are our sides.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, hold on, let me slow down. And I'm so glad you said that because it drives me crazy when they do that too. And then they do this like speed. They're trying to do it really fast because someone told them to do it, and so they're just checking a box, and you're like, what? Because it gets to the point where you're like, when is this going to be over? Right? You're like, okay. And then they're like, and then the specials, you're like, no, just, I'm good. I just want to order now. So I think there's a lot that, you know, AI can do for us, but I'm curious. I would love to kind of go in, if you're okay with it, to your story. How did you get started? Like, what was like your catalyst? I know the answer to this, but I would just love to hear from you.
Starting way back is really
Yeah.
having an Italian father that was really passionate about food and cooking, and he was a great cook at home and taught our mother how to cook. And we ate food that was freshly made, you know, fresh groceries every day. You know, friends used to beg to come over to my house for lunch because everything was just handmade, and you know that. So I became passionate about eating well, really. And then when I was 18, I moved to Italy. I studied business, but you know, became passionate about Italian food there. And I started cooking because I was a student and couldn't afford to eat out a lot. So I started cooking, and I really, you know, some friends would say I needed to open up a restaurant back then. but I never thought of that because I studied business. And I think that combo of I have a master's degree in business and I own restaurants. There's some restaurateurs that have that background, but typically you're a chef, you've done training like that. But at the end of the day, I'm married to passions. I have a passion for business. I have a really strong entrepreneurial spirit, and I have a passion for food. So I'm married to passion. So a double bonus for me because I think you're lucky when you find your passion. You find your purpose. I like using purpose more, but I feel very purposeful in my life, and I feel like I'm doing what I should be doing in life. And so it's the only thing I've ever done. Out of university, I opened my first restaurant in Toronto, and that restaurant in June right now is about to turn 30 years old. So
So
still
awesome.
going 30 years later, and that's how it all began.
How you got the job to how you ended up with the company is so cool. There's so many like nuances and storytelling to it, and just this fact that you like, because you didn't just, hey, I'm gonna start a restaurant.
No, that was never an idea that I ever had. It was meeting these 2 guys that were under construction for a restaurant, and they asked me to be a partner, because I had sold the previous owner their espresso machine. And so I said, "Oh, what's going on? What are you guys doing?" "Oh, we're building a restaurant." Got into a conversation, and they said, "Why don't you be a partner?" And that was it, and 2 weeks later, I was in the restaurant business, and I had never served a table before. I mean, I knew nothing. What I knew is I could learn anything, though. I felt very confident about I can learn to do anything.
And that's crazy when you think about when you look over now, right? The Janet Zuccarini empire, and then think it started off by you just kind of walking in, no real game plan, but you just, like you said, you sold them that espresso machine, the previous owners. You're like, what's happening here? And then somehow with that conversation, that turned into you becoming a partner.
Yeah. I think, you have to be open in life, and I knew that I wanted to work for myself, that's all I knew, and my energy was very much like, I am looking for opportunities, and I think they present themselves all the time, opportunities, and you have to be able to recognize, "Oh, this is a great opportunity, and let me go here." You have to just be open. It's like when you're shopping for a red car, all you're gonna see are red cars, so I was like, I wanna be an entrepreneur, I wanna work for myself. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm open. I'm open to possibility.
That's the crazy thing about entrepreneurship is you have to like believe in something that just does not exist in any way, shape, or form. It just there's nothing there. It's literally shapeless. There's nothing to it's just but you're just like there's this aura, right? And I have to unlock it. And it's hard to explain to someone, but yeah, being able when you see it actually happen and come to fruition, you go through the process and you start believing in it a lot more, right? Believing in something that just doesn't exist, but you believed in it and you made it come to life.
Yeah, you have to be maybe a little bit spiritual to have that level of belief that
Yeah, 100%.
things are going to happen, present themselves.
I'm going towards something with no end in sight, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. I'm just going towards this thing and I'm not stopping.
Yeah,
Even when it feels crazy, I think you have to be a little crazy too, right? To be an entrepreneur. I still go towards it. I still move towards it.
yeah,
With that being said, because I talk about, when I talk to like teams, that my big thing is I'm really trying to change the mindset of the staff. Like that's really one of my big goals is trying really to change their mindset because I was on both ends, right? I was an employee who was like so worried about my paycheck, so worried about my tips, so worried about every tip I get, worried about when I look back now, I'm like, I was completely worried about the wrong things, right? And I was focused on the wrong things. And one thing I talk about is that, every day that you come into work, you're building yourself one direction or the other, right? You're coming in or saying, I'm here to give 120%. I'm going to practice showing up as the best version of myself, build that as a habit, which is going to be transferable in anything you do in life, right? But it's a skill set, like a muscle that you have developed, but you can also develop the muscle and skill set in the wrong direction and say, I'm gonna show up at 87% or 80%, 70%, 50% because I'm not getting paid enough. I'm gonna be on this job. I have bigger things in life I'm gonna do. This is just a part-time job, right? But you don't realize that you're building habits that are ultimately gonna like be your biggest weakness
yeah.
and going forward. And so I'm just asking this question because it's like, how would you frame this? Because I'm trying to frame it to them as you think that this paycheck right now matters, right? You think this be what like this it just couldn't matter less. Like it really when in the grand scheme of things, if you're building yourself up to do something bigger, you're focused on this so much it's distracting you from the big picture, which you should be focusing on this. How would you frame that?
Well, I think it's the most important industry to build culture in is in hospitality. You have to build the culture inside your company from the leadership all the way down. And we build it in our company like a family. Like we're here. We're gonna treat you well. We're gonna treat you with a lot of respect. We're gonna train you well to make sure you're trained well for your job, so they feel good when they come to the table. Uh, we have to build it more in hospitality because it is a part-time job for the majority of people. It's not a career. It could even be your full-time job, but most servers, they're not lifers. They're going to be, I'm on my way to something else. So you have to give your servers something valuable, and so they feel that they can bring pride to their job every single day.
Yeah, I love that idea because you're saying we have to build and support them more than ever, more than most jobs because it is a part-time job. Yet we're asking them for a full-time commitment, right? Full-time commitment of mentality. Like we want you fully bought into this part-time job. And I think like I don't know what the percentage is. There'd be an interesting study of how many servers are start off part-time and end up full, this ends up being their job for a long time. I'm gonna be here for a year and they end up being in for 10 years, but it's a lot. But one thing you said earlier, you said that you knew going into the restaurant industry that you could train yourself to do anything. Do you think that mentality and having that vision helped you develop your business? Because last time we talked, you said, and I love this. You're like, I put a lot of my people, like a lot of people in my corporate offices were, hostesses, server, bartender, and now I moved them up into these like roles. Do you think that helped with your vision in that?
First of all, it was helpful that I actually had not worked for another restaurant group, so I could think independently
Hmm.
and create my own systems. So I'm a very efficient person, so I worked every position in the restaurant, and so I could break it down and say, how can we do this more efficiently? How can I train? How can I build the manuals so I can help train the next person? So I think not having any kind of background or information from another restaurateur, I could really start with a fresh mind and create it myself. So that I think helped me. And back then it was harder because there wasn't even Google. Like, you couldn't Google
Yeah,
how to do something.
yeah.
So I had to really use my brain in a more efficient and effective way to figure these things out in an industry I had never worked in before. And I think that this is how you get people to stay in your company a long time is in-depth training and also a path forward. So we have a path forward for every employee in our company. So if you want to be a manager, if you want to be a coach, so we're a restaurant group out of Toronto. When we opened our first restaurant, Felix, in Los Angeles, we created coaches, this coaching program, and the carrot, I suppose, is to say if you get certified as a coach, then we're going to bring you to Los Angeles. For somebody in Toronto, that was exciting. And we brought a group of coaches here to train our servers here in Los Angeles. So even, that there's paths like, oh, I can develop myself over here. And then I'm going to go to Los Angeles. I'm going to train staff, or I want to be on the track of a manager. So we give people paths forward, that it's not only that you land here as a server, but you could come into leadership. And, we treat people really well. And I think that's important. And we pay people well. And our leadership team hasn't changed. It's the same leaders. So my head of operations has been with the company for 30 years. So
Oh, wow.
from day one,
Crazy.
but there's, you know, profit sharing, there's all sorts of incentives, and you want your people to stay with you, but it comes from you. What are you creating? Why are people going to stay? Why are servers going to care about doing a good job? Why are they going to, how are you going to shift them if they're just thinking about a paycheck to actually, I care about doing a great job and I care about this company? Well, it's going to come from you. It's going to come from me, the owner. That's, the buck stops here with me. And whenever there's an unhappy server, a server who doesn't do a good job, I just look at myself. If I'm in my own restaurant and I see somebody not doing something right, how we trained them, oh, God, I didn't do a good job. I don't ever look to them. And I might give somebody, we have this thing, in the moment feedback. So as an owner, I might see something, somebody doing something incorrectly, let's say, and I say, "Do you mind if I give you in the moment feedback?" Because it's also helpful for people. I said, you just, that person, their napkin went on the floor, you picked it up and you put it right back on their lap. No, so what we do is we get a clean napkin, and this is what we do. Um, and, you know, all these things just add up to respecting people, and I have to do better. It always ends with me.
Yeah, I love that. I went into a hotel bar, and there's like no, and it's like there's a restaurant downstairs. We just got in from like traveling, like going to get some food. We're like, let's just eat at the hotel, like even though it's usually a risk, right, of like quality. But I'm just like, let's just go. And so we go downstairs, and I'm like, is it open? Because it was part of like the lobby is one of those weird things where it's like restaurant slash lobby. So I'm like, is it open? There's no one there. There's two people at the bar, and there's a bartender there. And so he's like kind of staring at us, and we walk up to the bar. And as we walk up to the bar, he just turns around and starts and leans on the counter. And I'm like, are they open? And I realize they are open. I'm like, you know what? We'll just go. But I go, is that the bartender's fault? Right? Is that his personal fault, or is it his leadership's fault? Because how is that even acceptable in his mind? Right? He's clearly been trained poorly, led poorly.
Training for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be the training. And then, and systems, right? It's all kind of like correlated, but I love
Systems, controls, all of it.
Yes.
Right? People have to know. People are watching. People are, there's ramifications. If you do pull out your phone and you lean on the bar, people have to know that. So it's not done, and here's how we make sure it's not done.
150%.
You're like parents, right? And you have to follow through. You're not going to threat. If you scream one more time, we're leaving the party. No, we leave the party. Okay. Like there's follow through. Like this is, hey, we do things, 3 warnings, we have systems, and there's follow through. And then this is not the place for you to work. We trained you, we told you, we gave you 1 warning, 2 warning, 3rd warning, you're out, and we have all these systems that's follow through.
This is your promise, right? As an owner, he's like, I'm going to train you, and I'm going to give you all the tools. All I'm asking you to do is just follow the systems after that. And I always tell people, like, you're not going to be like, hey, one of the systems is you're going to clean my house, or my car. No, like you're like, anything I ask you to do is just for the business, right? To make sure that this runs as best as possible. We give our guests the experience, and I'm going to give you all those tools, make it super clear. But outside of that, if you decide, hey, I'm not going to do that, then we're going to have to hold you accountable. Yeah, and like I talk about sports teams, right? You think about some of the greatest sports teams. What do you think the accountability is like in those locker rooms and with those teams? They're going to hold you accountable. That's what makes them great. And we want to chase greatness as an organization, and everyone benefits. Like everybody benefits. The employees benefit. I mean, sorry, the guests benefit, of course, the business benefits, but the employees benefit too, because they're training themselves on how to work in an environment that has expectations, right? They come to work with a little bit more pride and a little smile on their face, and they feel accomplished. Because you talked about growth plans, and I think that's huge. I think that's what's lacking in this industry a lot, is there's not enough growth plans. And you've built a business to where you offer people so much, right? Because you can go from here all the way up to here. If you own one restaurant, that's hard to do. You're like, you can go here to kind of here maybe, but you're like, there's so much room, and you've done a lot of freaking hard work to build something to provide that, right?
Yes. It's, once you build a company at a certain level, then you have different levers that you can pull on. When you are a small restaurant and you're just like keeping your head above water, it's hard. So like, how do you do that at that level when, you just want to make ends meet? But I still think that you have to be so respectful to people. And how you're respectful to people is to train your staff. It feels very uncomfortable when you don't know your job and you haven't been trained properly. You feel uncomfortable working in that job. You have to have a whole plan. When somebody walks in your restaurant first day of training, we have a whole thing like, we're going to show you around so you know where everything is. We're going to take you to your locker. We go from the A's to the B's to the C's to make sure that people, oh my God, I feel comfortable. And what makes somebody feel comfortable? I know everything. I can be asked any question and I can answer it. You have to do that type of training. And even when you're a small restaurant, you can do that. You have to do that.
You have to do it, yes. And I agree with that. And I always tell people, like when I'm doing training with like the GMs and I'm teaching the teams, I always say I'm 2 scenarios, right? And scenario 1 is like you walk in, Preston, so nice to meet you. Go up to the host. Oh yeah, we were waiting for you. I'm gonna bring the manager, comes right out. Hi, this is John. John's a trainer. Oh my God, Preston, I'm so excited to meet you. I heard you're coming from this place. We're super excited. Here's your pamphlet, by the way. We're gonna learn these things today. Let me show you your locker. Let me show you around, right? Option B, you come in, the host looks confused. Can you sit over there? Manager comes out 30 minutes later. Hi, sorry, it's been busy. Brian's here. He's been here for a long time. He'll be training you. Brian doesn't know he's training that day. Hey, how's it going? Where are you staying? Where do you think you're gonna stay longer? Where are you gonna feel more comfortable? Where you gonna feel like they know what they're doing, right? It's like such a different experience when you organize your training. It's systematized, and they feel like they're taken care of. They feel like they made the right, because that's a decision they made to work for you, right? They made the right decision, and that's where you see employment last longer, and that's where you get people like what you have in your organization, where they're lasting decades,
Yeah.
right?
I even have servers, been with me 25 years.
You have to really like your job to stay somewhere for 25 years,
Yeah.
especially serving, because that's
Yeah.
not easy. That's a tough job.
Yeah. And we do a whole recognition of, we recognize people that have been with the company 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 25, up to 30 years. We do a whole recognition party.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's one big party?
One big
Oh,
party.
that's awesome.
And everyone comes together, and we do a whole, little awards, acknowledgement. All these little things just add up, right? Everyone loves acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves acknowledgement. So we look how we can acknowledge people all the time.
It's almost like a loyalty program, because you kind of get like, I'm 2 years in, I want to get to 5 years now. Now I kind of I have something to look forward to, a goal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And every year we do have a company-wide party and meeting, and we do this thing called the Awesome Awards. So with every restaurant, you can get nominated for being awesome and why you're awesome in your job. And, people really look forward to this party every year. And, you all sorts of people, the busboy's getting acknowledged and getting an awesome award because he never wipes a smile off of his face, and he brings joy to the team. So everyone knows this is going on yearly. We're like, put in your name for who you want to nominate for an awesome award.
Oh, that's cool.
And they really look forward to this. And it's a big deal. And we have hundreds of people at this, and they come up on a stage to get their awesome award.
How many people show up?
Hundreds.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I want to go to that party. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah.
It feels like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
So you think you're even thinking about that. Like, I want to get nominated. That was like, look at that person, and who got acknowledged and an awesome award, and I want to. All these little things.
Matter.
They matter, and they add up.
For sure. I love that. And so I'll ask you a question. If because we're talking about leadership and training and systems, they all are connected, right? I always tell people it's like one ecosystem. But if you're talking to someone, let's say they own 3 restaurants, and they're just kind of like, we kind of grew, you know how it goes, right? It's like we just started, we don't know what we're doing still, and they're in the same shoes you were, like, no idea how this works, but we've been having success. There's our 3rd restaurant, but now we're starting to see the cracks. We're feeling the pain, and we can't get the hospitality piece down. We can't get the people brought in. It seems like they're hard to train. I don't have systems. I don't have training. I don't have like a leadership development thing. What would you say, here's the first thing you need to do?
Well, you have to record all of your, all of your trainings, all of your systems. There has to be like a record of it. Like it's just like writing it down. And now with AI, use Claude. I can't even imagine, I'm not creating the systems anymore in my company, but how easy is it to create the systems and manuals? Like, we're just like, what are we doing? You're writing it down. Who are we as a company? You have to know, the culture that you're imparting. So what is that culture? It's all about like writing it down, recording it, manuals, what training material, all of that.
Now, when you talk about, because this is a good conversation, because we come across a lot, we talk about, writing it down, that's your North Star, right? And having that information exist and live. But where does it translate into actual results? Because you can have manuals all day, right? I can have a company come in and build all the manuals they want. What, like, we've had this before where someone comes in and says, Preston, can you build our manuals? And we go, sure, yeah. And so we do a deep dive research, we walk through them, we spend like 60 days, and we build all the stuff out. And now they're like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Right? So what would be your advice in that situation?
It's very difficult. And I'll say that restaurants, when you first open, you're closed, weeks in advance to train your team. And that's when you're given your best opportunity.
Yes.
You're not open yet. So you're going to really do your training there. But now the problem is, my restaurant's 5 years old, 10 years old. I have new people coming in. How do you train? It's not easy. And we created something called, and my company is Gusto 54, it's called Gusto University. And we have training on an app. And you can't show up to a shift unless you've finished certain modules you can do on your own. A lot of it is gamified. So you've got to be, we had to find a way for ongoing training. So we built an app. Is every restaurant going to do that? But that's what you do when you've been in business for 30 years. I'm always thinking, how are we going to make this easier? Like, there's one time when you can train your staff before opening, but the ongoing training, what do you do? So we have this Gusto University, and you can't show up to shifts unless you've passed your modules, and it's all on people's phones.
Is all stuff I always talk about. One thing is ongoing training. Like, it has to be ongoing, it has to be continuous, because what a lot of restaurants do is they train someone for 7 days or 5 days or freaking 3 days. And they're like, okay, good luck. And if he's doing anything wrong, we'll let you know, right? Versus like having some ongoing training, because you can only give so much information in 7 to 10 days.
Exactly.
It's limited.
There's going to be more and more apps that you can, and we created this ourselves,
Which is so
but
cool.
and it's helped a lot, but it's a big problem in restaurants.
Huge. And so that's, yeah, and that's where we're,
Nobody has time. The hours of restaurants. When are you going to shut down a day? If you're open 7 days a week, lunch and dinner, are you going to shut down a day to train? So that's also this ongoing training, meaning like in the moment feedback, like a manager on the floor. We do that a lot, because you sit somebody down, let's say you're giving them a review, and you're going to say, 3 months ago you did this thing and it wasn't right. Like, people feel bad, like, what, I did something they don't remember. So it's all also your managers every day during service. We just, to be respectful, we say we have in the moment feedback. So we want to, this is how we do things. We make sure somebody's approaching you, you give right of way. So that's a really important thing for me. To me, restaurants I go through and the busboy's like coming through and like pushes a customer out of the way.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh God, no, and it's that one is hard, but it's so important to show, listen, we care about you more than we care about ourselves. So it's like right of way.
You're the star.
You're the star.
guest.
You're the star.
Yeah, and I went to a restaurant recently, not too long ago. It's like there were like all these publications and how amazing it was, and I was pretty excited, and we went there, and the service was fine. That wasn't bad. It wasn't necessarily good. It wasn't bad. The food was pretty good though. It was very unique. It was fun. But we walk in, and it's like really small, compact restaurant, tiny. And so we walk in, and the walkway's like this. And it shows you like nuances, how important little nuances is, because it's guessed right away. And there's a part of it where it's like, A, here's how you do it, but B, more importantly, is here's why, right? Here's a why behind it. Like, you want them to feel comfortable, you want them to feel like, hey, I care that you're here, and please, no, please, no, you're my guests, like, absolutely. And we walk in, and there's 2 people running food, and there's a little walkway when you open the door, and we walk in, and instantly they see us, and they move out, and the first thing we do, right, when first people we see, and they go like this, and they both look down. They're just like looking down as we walk by them, and I'm like walking by and I'm staring at them, and they're like looking, like kind of, you could tell they're like, hey, I'm busy, like, please go so we can go. And it was one of those feelings, you could kind of feel that tension. And I'm like, it was just kind of like a lost opportunity, because we walked in and they both were like, hey, welcome, yeah, come on in. The host is right around the corner. But instead they're like,
Yeah, when I open a restaurant, I'll usually work as a host. I'll stand at the door, and in the beginning, and just make sure final trainings, and I just tell everyone, just keep smiling, and I'll work a shift at the restaurant, and I'll take a smile out into the world, and I can't believe how I meet so many people. I feel like this just to smile feels so nice. It feels so welcoming. It feels so kind, and we can take that out in the world, and you're going to see miracles happen. And I don't do that. Sometimes I can get a little bit serious, but when I come off of a shift, if I go to any other restaurant, I'm still in work mode, and I'm walking around. I'm like, hey, how are you? How are you? Great, yeah. And I'm like, but you meet people just by being friendly, and we are all sick of dining out and having any kind of attitude at the door. people even feel nervous going to a restaurant. I feel myself nervous going to a restaurant. Oh God, is the host going to give me attitude? Do you ever feel that?
Absolutely.
I mean, what a feeling. I'm in the restaurant business. I'm like, please, how do I have to act? So this host, and then you walk up to a host stand and someone's like, hi, and like genuinely like, great to see you. Like, and the worst question is also, do you have a reservation?
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah.
the
Yes
worst
or no?
question. And I was just in New York City, walked in to an empty restaurant where I'm
That's
telling
my
you,
favorite.
not a single person. And hi, yes, okay. Do you have a reservation? And it's just such a weird
It
question.
really
And I mean,
is.
there's a way to say it because you might want to check off if there's a reservation.
For sure.
I get that. But it's also this weird, like, are you in the club? Are you going to get in tonight?
Right.
Are you starting to sweat? Like, just make people feel comfortable. You don't know what's going on in someone's life when they show up. My mother just died. I'm meeting with a friend to let her know. Whatever someone's going through, just be kind and
Yes.
smile and be helpful. A smile is going to go so far.
It is, and I tell people all the time when you smile, people always like, they love it. And I went to a restaurant in New York and we walked in, and this is how like low the bar is, because this should be just kind of like normal practice. I walk in, it's a busy restaurant. We kind of like happened by accident, right? And it's just
Yeah.
packed and it's
Which restaurant?
beautiful. I forgot. I'll find out. I have like a postcard from them. I'll find out. And so I walked in, and the host is like, "Hi, did you have a reservation?" I'm like, "Oh, we don't." And she's like, "It's gonna be like," but she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's like a 2-hour wait." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "We're starving." And she's like, "Okay, just give me 5 minutes, okay? Let me see what I can do." And I'm like, "Oh." Not like I was just totally expecting yeah, it's a 2-hour wait, like, you know, sorry,
Yeah.
but she was like, and she comes back, she's like, "Okay, I think I have a table that's getting up. Just can you wait for, is 5 more minutes? Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay." And then she came back, she's like, "We got you a table." And I'm like, that felt really good. And I was so like amazed by that, but it made me realize how low the bar is, because that should just be normal business
I
practice.
know, and again, that's going to be the training, to train
Yes. Yes.
your team.
Yes.
And how insulting is it when you might have a 2-hour wait, and the way that somebody delivers that is just like, yeah, so it's 2 hours, so can I get your name? And you're like, what? You know how you have to say that if it actually is?
Yeah.
I am so sorry. It's so unreasonable. Like we're fully, and we have so many names. It's a long wait. It's a long wait. It's like 2 hours. But you know what? If I can get you in, like, is there another night I can make you a booking? Like, if you know you have an impossible night, um, show that you're trying to help. Is there another time? Can we do this? Or maybe give people some options, and
Yes.
be respectful of. You think it's normal that someone at 8 p.m. is going to wait until 10 p.m. to dine? They're not. So show them like how awful that news is to deliver
Yes,
that.
empathy. Show the empathy, right?
Yeah.
It's a show. We're
God, I'm
putting on a
so sorry.
presentation. I love what you just said. It's unreasonable. This is so unreasonable. I'm gonna tell you right now, and I hate to even give you this news.
Yeah, because it's unreasonable.
Yeah.
But how often do you, like, 3-hour wait, your name?
Because here's
And I just think, like, you think you're that great
Right.
that I'm gonna wait 3 hours?
Right.
But it's like a slap in the face.
It is.
Oh,
We call it the cool kid syndrome. You're a
Oh.
new restaurant, you're popular, which happens, right? Beautiful new restaurant, but you're the cool kid. So it's like, yeah, get with it, right? And you got a problem? Like, go. And also what kind of problems that creates, because what people are gonna do, okay, my name's Preston, here's my phone number. I'm gonna go across the street. Oh, it's open. Now I'm gonna eat. Now you're chasing me down. You're wasting energy texting me. I'm on the list. No, I already moved on, right? I also like we worked with this restaurant where we would offer them something, right? So it's like, I know it's a 2-hour wait. I can put you down on the list, and if when you guys get back, let me buy you a glass of wine, right? Or if I put you on the reservation tomorrow, I'm gonna put on the list, we're gonna buy you a glass of wine or an appetite, whatever. So they get enticed, and it makes them feel a little bit better. You just take off the sting however you can, where it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make sure you guys get taken care of though. I know it's not much, right? And they're like, no, thank you. Because last 50 restaurants I went to where they gave me this news, they didn't offer me anything. So I appreciate you showing that you care.
And your bread and butter is gonna be your regulars. So how do you turn anyone into a regular? And I have regulars that have been coming to me forever, and not a lot of them, but some of them have come back because they had a bad experience, but we fixed it in such a great way. Mistakes happen all the time. We train to say, guys, just make sure they walk out happy. Whatever our marketing dollars are spent within our four walls, and mistakes happen. And we're humans, and there's a lot of different moving pieces here. Anything can go sideways, and that's never going to be the problem. It's going to be how we fix it. So I think as a server, when I'm telling you I'm paying for this, for you to say, glass of wine's on me, dessert's on me, your entire dinner is on us. This did not go well at all. And just to call out the elephant in the room, and we want you to come back, and will you give us another chance? Everything's like, will you give us another chance if something goes sideways? We have gotten so many repeat, because they've told me, Janet, something went so south, but your team took such good care of us. We're like, you guys care. We came back. We gave you another chance. We had an excellent experience. So you have to be thinking about how do I make every experience, and they're walking out, they're like, that was a great experience, even when something goes wrong.
Because I talk about this stuff all the time. Like I literally, like after this, I'm gonna show you a reel. I've had like one of my oldest reels where I talk about what you just said, like almost to a T. We can't prevent mistakes from happening fully, right? That's not the name of the game. We want to minimize them, but we can't prevent them, right? But I always say people don't stop coming to a restaurant because you got an overcooked steak, because you wait a long time for food, because your reservation went over. They stop going because of the way we react. Right? That lackluster care, disregard, right? I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna take care of your meal tonight. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, cool. I won't write a bad review. That's basically what you just kind of like, and I tell people, if you get into a fight with a significant other, right? Someone you're dating, let's say, and they say some really mean things to you, and the next day you're like, I really want an apology and some acknowledgement that wasn't cool what you just said. And they go, here's a nice gift. We good? You're gonna be like, no, we're not good. I want you to acknowledge what just happened and let me know that that's not like normal behavior for you, right? And that's what we have to do. The comp isn't the winning formula. Part of it, but we got to be like you just said, empathy and getting in the boat with them, right?
Yeah, and you have to train people how to communicate, and we do training where we train our team members. Let's say it's a server and someone has a problem, to match back what they're saying, and even use their hand motions. So, if somebody's like saying, this was our anniversary and it's been ruined because the food came cold and we don't, and then you're like, this is not how we want to operate. And this is a special night for you. And someone sits back and they say, I've been hurt, like they heard me.
Yes.
Right. And that's all people want.
That's all they want.
They want to be understood. How do you show that you understood somebody? You bring back the same level how they're communicating. That's just a sign to say, I hear you.
Right.
And if you're like, someone's going like this and you're like, okay, well, we're gonna take care of your meal. You're not matching, you've ruined their night. We have ruined your night, and we take responsibility. You mimic somebody back, they feel so good.
That's so
You
good.
heard me. You heard me.
That's so simple too. I love that, because it's a simple thing, because that's what we're always trying to train on too, is like trying to train on communication, right? I tell people it's emotional intelligence, is communication. It's all about how we communicate with people. That's it. That's the difference, right? It's all about communicate. How are we conveying the message to them that we want to communicate to them? And one really good lesson I got was either you're taking it more serious or they're taking it more serious. But if they're taking it more serious, you lost, right? So if they're upset and they're taking it more serious, right? You go in the back, because you get this all the time with servers sometimes. They're like, what's the big deal? Oh, they're freaking out over this thing. They're overreacting. It's like, you're playing the wrong game. You're looking at the wrong way. You need to take it more serious than they do. Like you do, a fly in your drink, unacceptable, right? But if they're taking it more serious, you got a problem. Just like you said, that's a perfect example. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna make it right for you. They're clearly taking it more serious, and you just lost.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's really going to serve you in life when you're trained and how to communicate. You'll take these tools and take them everywhere.
Anywhere. What's the most powerful tool you can have as a human being? Communication.
Yeah,
So how do you
exactly.
communicate? If I can communicate to people, like what do they say in relationships? What's the number one thing in relationships? Communication, right? Everything is about communication. The better you are at communicating with people, the more successful you're going to be, happier you're going to be,
Yeah.
the happier people around you are going to be, right? But and so I tell people like that's a skill set that you can learn and you get to practice every day. Because someone that was a manager at a restaurant, I was trying to talk to him and I'm like, what do you want to do for a living? And he was like, I want to be an agent, a sports agent. And you could tell he got excited about it. We could tell he's a little bit of an introvert, but he got really excited about it and started talking about it. I go, what do you think you're gonna have to do to be successful as a sport agent? Like, what do you think? If you want to land clients, sign deals, you have to network, right? And he's like, yeah, networking is the number one thing, blah, blah, blah. And I go, what's the core of networking? It's communication. You have to be able to walk up to someone and start talking to them and get them to like, vibe with you really, really, really fast. That's the art of like being able to network. You get to work somewhere right now while you're, going to school for that job where you can practice that every single night. You get to sharpen your skill set. And there's not a lot of people that can do that. There's not a lot of
Yeah, it's
opportunity
great for that. It's absolutely the best job. And you're dealing with every walk of life. Like you're going to see it all when you're in the restaurant business. You're
Everything.
going to see and deal with it. And it's going to just train you to be just a better human. We also train on don't take anything personally. Nothing's ever about you. Sometimes servers get upset. I'm like, it's not about you. That woman that's sitting there, her husband just left her this morning and she's just angry at the world. It's just not about you and it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter. Don't take anything personally. We train on that. Nothing is ever about you.
It really isn't.
The
Like,
servers can get
for
get
sure.
upset because
Managers do.
you get one of those and you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like,
Right. How dare they?
yeah,
Yeah.
don't treat me that way.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just never felt that way. It was never about me. And I almost felt when I was serving in my restaurant, it's just kind of like how am how I'm going to win them over, or just like it's just not about me. You can never take it personally.
And it really isn't.
But that's good training in life. Take that
Huge.
out on the road. Don't take any.
Seriously.
Nothing is ever about you. You take that to heart. You're gonna have a happy life.
You are, because it's good, like it releases a lot of things. The same with road rage, right? When you get mad, it's like someone's cutting you off. It's not personal, but we take it personally. It's like they cut me off. They
Yeah.
had the nerve to cut me. They messed, it's like
Yeah.
they're just cutting someone off. They're just
Yeah.
they're
Not about you.
it's not has nothing to do with
Can
you.
I just can I tell you? I told my friend this recently. Controlling not road rage, but getting upset. Like somebody cuts you off, and you almost feel like you want to flip them off. Anyone who cuts me off, I think they're driving to my restaurant. They're a customer of mine. They're a customer at one of my restaurants.
Yes.
Because in my restaurant, I don't get upset about any customer. They're king, they're queen, they're everything to me. And when someone cuts me off, they're maybe driving to my restaurant and they're in a hurry because I just relate to people as my customers because I
like-
give a lot of leeway to my customers because
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I just
I was-
don't get angry at anyone.
Because it's also like I try and picture what if you got out of the parking lot and that person was in the parking lot, right? And then you realize it was one of your customers. And you're like, oh, you're the owner? You're the owner of this
Exactly.
business. You just flipped me
Exactly.
off and honked at me 3 times. But what's kind of funny about that psychologically, and I don't know if you're the same way, but when you do think about it, you're like, well, then I would be kind of embarrassed by the way I act, right? I
Yeah.
acted. I'm embarrassed
Yeah.
by it. But if it was a stranger that would never see me again, I would,
Yeah.
it's,
That's why anyone like leaving reviews and they don't put their
Mm-hmm.
real name, you're hiding behind a mask. I hate that. I won't look at any reviews that are anonymous. Take responsibility for who you are in this world. Put your name to it.
100%.
So that's why I put my name to it in the car. Like I'm imagining that I have to put my name and my person out in the world.
Right,
It
like you would
helps
have to own
helps me
it.
act better.
100%. So you will be held accountable, right?
Yeah.
And if someone were to hold you accountable,
Yeah.
if one of your business partners saw you acting that way, right? Would you say that I'm proud of that, right?
Yeah.
If your family member saw that, would you be proud of? Yeah. So I agree with that 100%.
No, I think about like flipping off that woman in the car, and then I'm at the host stand at my restaurant, and they show up. I'm restaurant. That's what I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I bow down to customers who choose us. Any of our restaurants, I'm like, there are thousands of restaurants to choose from, and you're walking in our doors, and that's how I genuinely feel.
I agree 100%. And that's why I always say, I'm like, we're honoring the people that chose us.
Yeah.
Right? They chose to spend their money with us. They chose to spend their time with us. They're trusting us. And all we have to do is honor it by giving them what they deserve, right? Because they
Yeah.
just said, I could go left, I can go right, but I'm going here.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is
It's
a big deal.
And then you should treat every guest like we also train, this is a friend coming to your house. That guest, how would you treat that friend? Would you smile? Would you, come on in, like have a drink, sit down. Would you be friendly? We train on that because that's how we want it to feel. And you want to make your guest that comes to your restaurant feel welcomed and comfortable. How are you going to do that? If it were your friend walking in, you'd know what to do.
And I think that's an interesting thing too. I've been trying to figure out a way to kind of like build a framework around and like getting people to understand comfortability, right? How important that is. I saw someone talk about this online and it made so much sense. And I think it was like an old restaurateur, and he was like, the whole goal is if you can get people to feel comfortable in your business. If they go in your restaurant and they feel fully comfortable, you're gonna win.
Oh yeah,
You win.
that's where you want to go back.
Right. Yes.
You're dying to go back. I feel comfortable. So, you're competing these days with people's couches because you can order in your food for delivery pretty cheaply. So it's like, I feel comfortable at home. So how are you going to translate that to if someone feels so comfortable and maybe special? Like you should actually make people feel
Special.
We have another training and it's like any customer that walks in your door, pretend they have a sign on their head and it says, "Make me feel important." Make me feel important. Because that also feels really good.
Yes. Of
Someone
course.
saying, "Oh my God, thank you for coming back. I know you like table 8." And, everyone, you want to feel important.
Because think about it both ways, right? A, what you just said, right? Welcome. Oh, welcome back. Yeah. Like, let's say, like that example I gave you in New York where I go back and the host is like, oh, welcome back. I remember I helped you get that table, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah, wow, that's impressive. Because like you've bartended before. It's so amazing when you bartend and you see someone and you're like, oh, vodka soda. And they're like, how did you remember? And you're like, oh, that's easy. But they're so like, it has that effect. But think about the opposite where you see them, they see you, and they're like, oh, that's my bartender, or that was a host that helped me, or there's a manager that talked to me. And they're like, hi, table for two? And like as if they've never seen you before. And that's such a defeating feeling,
Yeah.
right? You're like, oh, okay, yeah, table for two. And it just kind of kills this magic, kills the mystique. Everything goes away and dissipates versus if you can just elevate it by being able to acknowledge them.
Yeah, and it's a lot to ask, but that's what we have to deliver. We have some restaurants. I have a restaurant that's very large, the Thai restaurant, which is about to be 15,000 square feet. We're adding another 5,000 square feet to this restaurant. So imagine that. At
Yes.
10,000 square feet, we have
crazy.
lineups at this restaurant called Pie. And so we see sometimes 2,000 people a day,
Wow.
every day.
Wow.
So, how
Every day is crazy.
every day.
That's nuts. What's the seats? How many seats do you have?
Right now is 400.
And you do 2,000, 4, 8, 12, 6. That's 5 turns. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it never stops. When you go there 3 p.m. and it's it's a very popular restaurant, very good value.
So I think that's the play. I mean, it's not.
But you're doing that like that level of for 1,000 people, 2,000 people
Yeah.
a day.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but that's what you have to do to every individual that comes in.
Because you said it earlier. You said it's, we're building relationships. That's what it's all about. Or it's all about, well, it's about regulars. And to get a regular, you have to build a relationship. And you said so much good stuff today. But like, statistically, someone has to come to your restaurant 3 times, have a great experience for them to become a regular. One mistake handled correctly, instant loyalty, right? For life. They're gonna love you. But it's all about building relationships. And so that's why, yeah, all this stuff is important because I love the fact that you have this restaurants, but this one particular restaurant that does so well, yet you're still so infatuated with how do we treat the guests so special. Every one of those 2,000 guests that come in a day, how do we treat each one of them so special? Because that's important versus check me out. I got 2,000 people coming in. How lucky are they, right? I figured it out. I cracked the code. You're like, no. How do we honor every single one of those 2,000 people every single day?
Yeah, because I feel it. I feel like it's an honor when a customer chooses one. I feel it to my bones. And that's why I can work a shift at a restaurant and never stop smiling. Like, thank you. Thank you for choosing us. I feel like it's an honor that they chose. And you have to impart that to your team. That they
For
feel
sure.
that they feel the same way because they have to be the custodians of that. Like you feel that way. But it's easier when you believe it and you do it, and you feel it, it's easier to impart that. Some owners, like you're saying, they might be like, look at me.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you think it would be good for your business if you built in, like when you know it's a new customer, if you built in a problem and it went overboard to solve it for them? Like you make new customers something, a mistake happen, and then you really go overboard to get a regular out of them. We're gonna send dessert for their main and like not, and then like we're dinner's on us, but like that's your marketing dollars that you fucked up
Yeah,
so badly, but then you solve it
that's
in
freaking
such a great
genius.
way, and then they're
That
like,
so oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, okay, yeah. No,
we
I'm very
psychologically
slow.
really mess with
That
people.
is that is freaking genius, actually. I think that's freaking awesome. There might be something to that, right? You're like, yeah,
Yeah,
because like in
there might
sports,
be
if you go,
there
if you,
might be a grain of something there. I don't
seriously,
know.
because they're in football, and this is a joke too, kind of. But in football, there's a huge problem with people tearing their ACLs, right? You know, it happens all the time. And I was like, what if you just replaced your ACL before you got
Oh
into the
my God,
NFL?
before.
And so that way you just don't have to worry about it ever again. And like same thing, right? What if we just made we had a system where it's, oh, first time guest? Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's what do we want to do? Option A, B, or C? Oh, it's your anniversary. Oh, okay, cool. We're gonna really screw this one up.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then at the end,
For life. We
yeah,
had our anniversary, everything was like crazy, and you guys went so overboard.
yeah,
We are
exactly.
lifers.
Yeah, seriously. Exactly. So you lose about 20% of your business, but then 80% of your business becomes retention. So you actually can
Yeah.
control the retention rate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, sometimes, ideas come
That's
from thinking
innovation.
way out of the box. Like we just think,
I agree.
I'm always thinking of like, what's next? Kind of what are we doing? And also going with the times. Like I said, the times are changing. So training changes. Like I said, initially you trained this way.
Oh my
Now we don't
gosh.
need to do that because everyone knows they're probably going to share their dishes. Stop giving that speech. We have to move with the times. So again, that's like, oh, we have to rewrite our training manuals, but you do, right? Are you going to keep moving forward?
Like I talk about I literally, Janet, like you're the only other person that's probably been so aligned, like to the T, because it's like exactly what I'm talking about. It's like literally everything you say is stuff I say all the
I'm
time.
actually a humanoid.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I downloaded your
AI.
brain.
You're like, I took this AI thing one step further. She's like in Toronto right now, opening a restaurant.
Yeah. Janet's humanoid can be available for an interview.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, you can make some money off
And
that.
I just download everything in your brain. I say it back to you. And you're like, wow.
That'd be the best server, right?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, because I talk about that all the time. Like you have to evolve your training, and no one does it. I mean, and also, Janet, like you probably see it. They don't in the restaurant industry. Just doesn't evolve in general.
No.
Like they just don't. They just do things
No.
the way they've done them 50 years ago, right? It just nothing really evolves, and especially now, they're not evolving when things are evolving very fast.
It's a hard business to do this in,
For
as we
sure.
said. That is the truth, and too bad. Right? When you're open 7 days a week, lunch and dinner, which most of my restaurants are, when are you training? When are you updating? Everyone, usually owners are just, again, they're like just trying to keep their head above water. They're going to think about updating training now. It's hard, but this is what we need in this day and age, where if you land somewhere in the middle, if you're even slightly mediocre, I'd say years ago, pre-COVID, you could actually survive. I saw a lot of mediocre restaurants. They're there, and that class in the middle of being okay, mediocre, will disappear. That it will disappear.
It already is.
Yeah, no, it's going. I'm seeing it just live.
It's
People are
literally,
like,
yeah.
I can't believe so and so closed. Why? I'm like, because they were mid, and you're not going to make it now at that. You could before. That's the truth, and you can't. That's because you're competing with people's couches, and people are spending less. The economy is tighter. So when
Alcohol sales are
they
down.
think about like we're going there, it's a big decision that they're going out and parting with their dollars. So you better make it worthwhile, whether you're a high-end experience or good value, whatever category you're in, it doesn't matter. But now more than ever, you have to be excellent. That's it. That really is it.
And excellence through consistency. That's
Oh,
the
that's
bottom line.
That's the most important thing in restaurants, right? Consistency.
And yet it's like there's no conservative effort to do it. There's just no. It's like we get it, we want it, we understand. It's like no. I'd love to hear your what you think about this. But okay, so let's say you're visiting Felix, right? And you're talking to the GM, and the bar manager walks in, and he goes, "Hey, I just triple checked the inventory. We're missing $5,000 worth of like booze. I just triple checked. What would you do?" I'm sure you, I mean, what would you like, what
We're
would you?
missing 5,000.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we got to figure this out right fucking now.
Yes. Thank you.
We
Exactly.
are, this is an emergency.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, you're the first owner to actually say that. They're always like, well, we know, I'm like, no, no, no. I don't care
No,
what you say.
emergency. Like, what
Yeah.
else is missing?
Yeah.
That's what you found out? Holy shit, we've got a problem. Houston, we got a problem.
Big problem,
Yeah.
right? Your red alarms, you're like, oh my,
No,
you're
no,
like,
alarms.
yeah, bells, whistles, everything. You're like, stop, jump, like
Yeah.
powwow.
Yeah.
Find out what happened.
Yeah.
Find out who's responsible. They're gone, obviously. And then find out how we never let this happen again. Now that's $5,000.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, but with guest retention, lack of consistency, there's a lot more money going out the window. When we're not consistent with our guests, when we're consistent with the experience, because I always tell people, I go, the food doesn't really matter. Like, food is good. I can get good food a lot of places, right? What's really going to deter me or motivate me to come back is the experience, right? Because we've all been there. I've had the place that has great food, but the freaking server pissed me off. I'm never going back there. The hostess pissed me off. I'm never going back there, right? That's truly what deters you. Like, if a place has bad food, they're going to be out of business in a very short time.
Yeah.
If it's inconsistent with the food. But if the food is good, that's not enough. You have to have that consistent experience. When you don't monitor that, you don't control it, you don't have the training, you don't have the leadership to support it, you're having $5, $10, $15, $20,000 go out the window every single month compounding because you're just losing guest retention. You're losing regulars. You're losing those regulars coming in every single month. How many people are getting burned, right? Because you have someone that come in 10 times, had a great experience, one bad time, they're out, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's why I tell people, I'm like, is that enough for you to go, let's fix this right now? Like,
Yeah.
right freaking now.
Yeah.
Let's make this our obsession.
Yeah, it might be that not understanding that, and that needs to be, there needs to be a lot of education with that. And
I agree.
that retention of what that means to your bottom line. People have to get that. Servers have to get that. Just that's why it's like that customer has to walk out happy, and I will pay whatever it takes. I give the power to the server guys. Offer them dinner, buy their wine, buy dessert. You guys will be able to tell what that table needs because we've trained you. A little problem. We're going to send dessert over. We didn't, this didn't go the way. Up to we have your dinner and we want you back and we're going to buy your dinner. Mm-hmm. Like as far as it can go.
Yep.
But it works. It works.
It does. Because I always tell people too. I go when I was managing. I'd always do like, we're going to buy your dinner and also, here's my card. It's a $50. Like, next time you come back, we'll buy you dinner. Next time you come back, do me a favor, text me so I can make sure I'm here. I want to shake your hand, and then, but that gives them an opportunity to come back, right? And then we blow their socks off. Then they're like, we're here for life.
For life.
So now you talk about a customer saying, well, Preston, we comped $400, right? But now we have someone who's going to come back once a month for the next 5 years. What does that add up to? But I had a funny story to make you laugh, because I remember one time I was working at this restaurant, we got a review, and I was like, the server said the salad didn't come out, then this didn't come out, that didn't come out. They named the server. I go up to the server and I go, Danae, what happened with this table? Do you remember this table? She goes, oh yeah, I do remember it. And I go, is this all true? Is this what happened? She goes, yeah, I forgot to ring in their salad, so I had to like ring it in. And I go, Danae, why didn't you tell me? And she goes, well, I asked them about if everything was okay, and they said yeah, so they were cool. I was like, Danae, you got to tell me, right? So that's why it's important for the servers to know. It's like for them to have that awareness. And like you said, like, we got to make sure they're leaving free. Not, oh yeah, they're good, they were cool, right? No, we got to make sure they're leaving freaking excited, happy.
And you also, most people aren't going to tell you when they even have little problems.
Yes.
I'm out with my friends all the time, and we're like, this is inedible, right? And then server comes, how is it? Great, thank you. Most people, I'd say like 90%, are not going to give the real feedback because they're afraid. Like, I don't want to be a hassle. They're going to, they're going to spit in my food when I get it back. And I'm like, no, do it. As a restaurant owner, we need to correct that. So if we don't know, but still people don't feel comfortable. So you have to, again, train your staff. Listen, she didn't ring in the salad. You better do something. It's not check in. It went south. So you solve it. Don't check in with the customer.
Right.
That didn't go how you were trained, right? Like, so then you're going to make it up to that person. You have to do that. It's not checking with the customer. The customer is going to lie to you most of the time because they're embarrassed. It's embarrassing.
Right.
They don't want to make a big deal.
It causes stress and anxiety.
Yeah. Look at body language. You know, you can, it's easy for me if I'm sitting in one of my restaurants and I'm like I'm dining and I'm watching people and I'll be like, table number 4 is not happy. I can tell. You know, if you just watch body language or, you know, another annoying question that we train not to ask is, how is everything? How is everything? Server, would you like to take a seat? Everything? You want to know is that really the question? I can't answer that. Not everything is fabulous. You can't answer that question. Like, people are leaving your restaurant, if I'm working the door, you know, or we train people, I ask them a pointed question. How was your food tonight? How was your service tonight? Just one thing that they could possibly answer and give me a little bit of feedback on.
So good. So good. So first of all, you're almost spot on. 91% of people statistically won't say anything. 91. No one say
Okay.
anything. And you know, like, and I love
Did
it
I
too.
say 90?
You said 90. Yes, you're right there.
God.
That's pretty impressive.
Can you
Have you
trust
been-
me on anything that
have
I'm
you-
going to say?
Have you been in the industry long?
Have I?
Been in the industry for a long time?
Well, some would say. Some might say.
Yeah, you can
Some
tell,
might say
right?
I'm a little long in the teeth.
But you know, I've done that in restaurants before too, where you know I didn't like an appetizer and I just pushed it aside and like, is everything? Did you like it? Yeah. Did you want a box? No. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
that's your answer.
right. I would be like,
Fix it.
Fix it.
We took that appetizer off your bill.
yeah, I took it off your bill because you didn't eat it, but can you tell me why? I really want to tell
Yeah.
the kitchen. They're like, "Ah, okay, it was just a little bit chewy. No, thank you. Like, talk to us. I don't want you to pay for anything that you're not enjoying. It's like,
Yeah.
please, that's unacceptable for us. Okay, cool. Now I do feel a little bit comfortable and I'm going to start voicing my opinion a little bit more. But this all comes down to culture because a lot of servers won't do that because they don't want to deal with it. So,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he let me get off, right? Now I have to deal with it. So I'm gonna run away and that's it. We have to, that's a cultural thing, right? Where we want, no.
Culture.
Talk to me. What's going on?
Culture.
It's culture, 100%. What are they trained to do? What have we indoctrinated them with? What power did we give them, right? To make them want that, to have that ownership mindset. But it's just like Preston, they don't have ownership mindset. How do we give them ownership? You haven't trained them on anything to give them ownership mindset. You're just expecting them to have it and then bummed out when they don't. But you just haven't trained them on it. And that's what it always comes down to. It's just this lack of training.
Yeah.
And it's detrimental. I really appreciate this. This has been an awesome conversation and
Well, we learned that we think alike.
yes.
Which is good.
It's great.
It's good.
No, you're making me very
Culture and
happy.
training and
Yes.
making the customer happy and bending over backwards, and everyone has to relate to their customers as gold walking in your door.
Yes, 100%.
Treat them like gold.
I always try and figure out ways to like connect the dots in their heads, and it's hard. But yes, you gotta bend over backwards for them. And again, there's just so many layers and elements to it because people just, like you said, they take it personal. I think that's a really good philosophy that you have, where you teach them right away. It's like, just don't take it personal. Like, there are gonna be people that are rude. I love this because this is so decisive. You'll be surprised when I'm in a room and no way, I will never.
No, yeah.
I'll never put up with that. And I'm like, but dude, just deconstruct that for a minute. What is so upsetting about that? Well, they're so disrespectful. I'm like, okay. And first of all, it never happens. It's so rare. But when they do, it's like,
Yeah.
can we overcome that?
That's a little back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's so old school. You
No,
never see people do
No,
it.
no, you're not gonna get a millennial doing that.
Oh, never.
They might
never.
go like,
Right. Yes, they do that.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither do I.
Clapping. It's
Yeah.
like clapping.
I have that sometimes. I'll be in a presentation. I look over and someone's like, and I'm like, gotcha. I was doing a presentation the other day and I was talking and some girl goes, facts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, what was it? She goes, fat. And I go, oh, gotcha. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's give some love if you agree with that. But yeah, I really appreciate this. This is freaking amazing because it's always good to see someone that's super successful in the industry have long-term success and you're like aligned, right? You're like, I'm telling you right now, it's like everything you've said, I preach all the time. So
Yeah.
thank you for
sure.
being here. It was
Thank you
amazing.
for-
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. It was
Pleasure was all
fun.
mine.